Picture this. It's April 23rd, 1985, New York City. The most powerful beverage company in the world is about to make an announcement that will shock America. Coca-Cola, the drink that's been unchanged for 99 years, the taste that defined generations, the most recognized brand on earth, is changing its formula. They're killing the original Coke, and they're replacing it with something new. The CEO, Roberto Goizueta, stands before a room packed with journalists, cameras flashing everywhere. He's confident, smiling. He announces new Coke, a sweeter, smoother taste that beat Pepsi in blind taste tests. 200,000 people tested it. They loved it. This is going to be huge. This is going to save Coca-Cola from losing the cola wars to Pepsi. But what Coca-Cola doesn't know, what they're about to learn in the most brutal, expensive, humiliating way possible, is that they just made the biggest marketing mistake in history, because in exactly 79 days, they'll be forced to bring back the original formula. The backlash will be so fierce, so emotional, so unprecedented, that new Coke will become a synonym for corporate disaster. This is the story of how the most successful company in America almost destroyed itself by fixing something that wasn't broken, how they underestimated the emotional connection people had with a soft drink, and how 79 days of chaos, anger and protest forced them to admit, we were wrong. Let me take you back to 1985. Coca-Cola is in trouble, big trouble. For decades they've dominated the soft drink market. Coke is America. It's nostalgia in a bottle. But Pepsi has been gaining ground steadily. They've launched the Pepsi Challenge, blind taste tests where people consistently choose Pepsi over Coke because Pepsi is sweeter. And it's working. Pepsi's market share is growing. Coke's is shrinking. In 1983, Pepsi does the unthinkable. They overtake Coca-Cola in supermarket sales, not total sales. Coke still dominates restaurants and vending machines. But in grocery stores, where people make conscious choices, Pepsi is winning. This is a nightmare for Coca-Cola. Their entire identity is built on being number one, and now they're losing. The executives at Coca-Cola panic. They commission studies, they run focus groups, they do thousands of taste tests, and the data is clear. People prefer sweeter drinks. When you give someone Coke versus Pepsi in a blind test, they pick Pepsi about 51% of the time. It's not a huge margin, but it's consistent. So Coca-Cola makes a decision. We need to make Coke sweeter. We need to beat Pepsi at their own game. They start Project Kansas, a top-secret research initiative to reformulate Coca-Cola. They test hundreds of variations. They spend 4 years and $4 million on research. And finally, they create it. A new formula that's smoother, sweeter, less fizzy. And in blind taste tests, it beats both Pepsi and original Coke. The executives are thrilled. This is it. This is the weapon that will win the cola wars. They tested on 200,000 people across America. The results are overwhelming. People love it. 55% prefer new Coke over old Coke. 52% prefer it over Pepsi. The numbers don't lie. But here's what Coca-Cola missed. What they completely catastrophically failed to understand. Taste tests measure flavor. They don't measure emotion. They don't measure identity. They don't measure what it means to people when you take away something they've loved their entire lives. Coca-Cola had just spent millions of dollars testing whether people liked the taste of new Coke. They never tested how people would feel about losing the original. April 23, 1985. The announcement goes public. Newspapers run headlines. The real thing is no more. Television stations cover it like breaking news. Coca-Cola launches one of the biggest marketing campaigns in history. Billboards everywhere. TV commercials with celebrities. The message is simple. New Coke is better. Trust us. You're going to love it. The first few days seem fine. People are curious. They try new Coke. Some like it. Some don't. It seems like a normal product launch. And then the backlash begins. It starts slowly. A few angry letters, some complaints to customer service, but within a week it explodes into something nobody at Coca-Cola could have predicted. The phone lines at Coca-Cola headquarters are jammed. They're receiving 5,000 angry calls per day, then 8,000, then 12,000. The customer service department is overwhelmed. People aren't just complaining, they're furious, they're betrayed, they're heartbroken. Coca-Cola had taken away something that was part of their lives, their memories, their identity, and they want it back. A man in San Antonio starts a group called Old Cola Drinkers of America. Within weeks it has 100,000 members. They're holding protests. They're pouring new Coke into the streets. They're organizing boycotts. This isn't just about taste anymore. This is a movement. In Seattle, a man named Gay Mullins, yes, that's actually his name, files a class action lawsuit against Coca-Cola. He claims they've committed fraud by changing the formula without telling loyal customers. The lawsuit goes nowhere legally, but it makes national news. Across America, people are hoarding old Coke. When they find stores that still have original formula in stock, they buy it by the case. They're stockpiling it in their basements, their garages. Some people are driving hundreds of miles to find stores in rural areas that haven't switched yet. There's a black market for old Coke. People are selling it for 3 times the normal price. Meanwhile, Pepsi is having the time of their lives. They take out full-page newspaper ads. After 87 years of going at it eyeball to eyeball, the other guy just blinked. They declare victory in the cola wars. They're celebrating like they've won the Super Bowl. Pepsi's stock price soars. And at Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta, the executives are watching their nightmare unfold in real time. The phone calls won't stop. They've hired extra operators, but it's not enough. They're receiving 1,500 letters per day, not emails, actual physical letters, and almost all of them are negative. Some are angry, some are sad, some are threatening. One letter says, "There are only 2 things in my life, God and Coca-Cola. Now you've taken one of those things away from me." Another, "You have betrayed us. You have stolen our childhood." A Vietnam veteran writes, "I served my country for 4 years. I came home to find everything changed, but Coca-Cola was still the same. It was the one constant in my life, and now you've taken that away too." These aren't just complaints about taste. These are love letters, breakup letters. People are mourning Coca-Cola like they've lost a family member. Roberto Goizueta, the CEO, is in shock. He genuinely believed people would love new Coke. The data said they would. The tests proved it, but the data was wrong. Or rather, the data measured the wrong thing. By late May, just 1 month after the launch, Coca-Cola knows they're in serious trouble, but they're stubborn. They've invested too much. They've announced it to the world. They can't just admit they were wrong. Not yet. They try to convince people. They run more ads explaining how new Coke is better. They have the CEO go on TV to reassure customers. They tell people, just give it a chance. You'll learn to love it. But people don't want to learn to love it. They want their old Coke back. The protests intensify. In Atlanta, Coca-Cola's hometown, people are dumping new Coke in front of the headquarters. There are picket signs, chants. It's like a political protest, except it's about a soft drink. Talk show hosts are making jokes. David Letterman does a whole segment mocking new Coke. Saturday Night Live satirizes it. Coca-Cola has become a punchline. And the sales numbers are devastating. New Coke isn't just underperforming, it's a disaster. People aren't buying it. They're switching to Pepsi, or to other drinks, or they're just not drinking cola at all. Coca-Cola's market share is plummeting even faster than before. Inside Coca-Cola, the executives are having emergency meetings every day. What do we do? Do we ride this out? Do we give up? Some executives still believe new Coke will work if they just give it time. Others are saying we need to bring back the old formula, now. By June, just 6 weeks after launch, Coca-Cola quietly starts researching what would happen if they brought back old Coke. They run focus groups. The response is immediate and overwhelming. Yes, please, bring it back. But there's a problem. Coca-Cola has already destroyed the old formula. Well, not destroyed. They still have it written down, but they've shut down production. They've reconfigured all their bottling plants for new Coke. Bringing back the old formula would require retooling everything. It would cost millions of dollars, and it would require admitting they made a mistake. The board of directors meets. It's a tense, brutal discussion. Some executives still want to wait it out, but the CEO, Goizueta, finally accepts reality. They screwed up massively, and they need to fix it. July 10, 1985. Just 79 days after they killed original Coke, Coca-Cola calls a press conference. The room is packed. Journalists know something big is coming. Rumors have been swirling for days. Roberto Goizueta steps to the microphone, and he says the words that will define his career and Coca-Cola's history. "We have heard you. Coca-Cola Classic is back." The room erupts. Journalists are shouting questions. Cameras are flashing. This is huge. Coca-Cola just admitted they were wrong. One of the most powerful companies in the world just publicly acknowledged a mistake. The announcement hits the news immediately. Within minutes, it's on every TV station. Within hours, it's on every newspaper's front page. Coke brings back original formula. Coca-Cola admits mistake. New Coke fails after 79 days. And America celebrates. People are calling the Coca-Cola hotline, not to complain, but to thank them. The phone lines are jammed again, but this time with positive calls. People are crying, literally crying. They're so happy. In bars across America, people order Coca-Cola Classic and toast like they've won a war. In Atlanta, there's spontaneous celebrations in the streets. Coca-Cola employees are hugging each other, relieved that the nightmare is finally over. But here's where the story gets really interesting, because what happened next was completely unexpected. When Coca-Cola Classic returned to shelves, It didn't just recover its old market share, it exceeded it. Sales went through the roof. People who hadn't drunk Coke in years started buying it again. The emotional reaction to getting it back was so strong that Coke's sales surged to all-time highs. By the end of 1985, Coca-Cola Classic was the best-selling soft drink in America. They'd not only beaten Pepsi, they'd crushed them. The cola wars were over. Coca-Cola had won. And this is where conspiracy theories started. Some people, even some business analysts, began suggesting, what if this was planned? What if Coca-Cola intentionally launched New Coke knowing it would fail, just so they could bring back the original and create this massive wave of positive emotion and free publicity? It's a compelling theory, because the outcome was perfect. Coca-Cola got hundreds of millions of dollars in free media coverage. They reignited people's emotional connection to the brand. They turned a potential decline into explosive growth. If this was a marketing strategy, it was genius. But everyone at Coca-Cola, from the CEO down to the marketing team, has consistently denied it. They say it was a genuine mistake. They really thought New Coke would work. The conspiracy theory, as much as people want to believe it, is just a theory. The truth is simpler and more human. They fucked up, and they got incredibly lucky that they were able to fix it. So what went wrong? How did Coca-Cola, one of the smartest, most experienced marketing companies in the world, make such a catastrophic mistake? The answer is, they forgot that brands aren't just products. Brands are emotions, memories, identity. Coca-Cola wasn't just a drink. It was summers as a kid. It was Christmas commercials with Santa Claus. It was what your grandfather drank. It was America. When Coca-Cola changed the formula, they weren't just changing a recipe. They were erasing memories. They were telling people that thing you loved, it's gone. This new thing is better. Trust us. But people don't want corporations telling them what to love. They want to choose. And when you take away their choice, when you force change on them, they rebel. The taste tests were accurate. People did prefer the sweeter taste of New Coke when they tried a sip, but preference in a taste test is different from loyalty. It's different from what you want to drink with dinner every night. It's different from what you want to be a part of your life. Coca-Cola measured preference. They should have measured attachment. Here's another mistake. Coca-Cola underestimated nostalgia. In 1985, America was going through a nostalgia boom. Ronald Reagan was president, campaigning on Make America Great Again. Yes, that phrase existed in the 1980s. People were longing for simpler times. They wanted things that reminded them of the past. And Coca-Cola, instead of leaning into that nostalgia, tried to modernize. They tried to change with the times. But people didn't want Coke to change. They wanted Coke to be the one constant in a changing world. After the disaster, business schools started using New Coke as a case study. It's taught in marketing classes around the world, as the ultimate example of how not to manage a brand.